climate change and green growth.
I wish to express our gratitude as the African Development Bank to the leadership of the Association of African Development Finance Institutions for the honor to address this important annual workshop. This year's theme, a practical guide or roadmap for African DFIs in assessing green funds, is very timely. You have a role to play. As we gather today, the devastation caused by climate change in several parts of Africa, including the recent floods here in Kenya, points to the need to accelerate support and financing for Africa from its current low base. I'm profoundly encouraged by and applaud the leadership role played by the Association of African Development Finance Institutions in embedding sustainability in the business operations of its members. AfDB has taken a proactive step to showcase best practices from its members, including taking a leading role in raising awareness amongst its members about the issues at the intersection of climate finance and development. This awareness, let me just state, is not only about Africa's vulnerability. This awareness is about the opportunities that we have. We at the African Development Bank are saying, look, we need to change this narrative. When all you see is gloom, doom, vulnerability, risk, nobody comes in there. But we know we have the critical minerals that are needed to drive any transition on the continent. We know that the fertile land remaining for agriculture is on the continent. The renewable energy resources we need are on the continent. Why do we just magnify only the vulnerability? We will support you as a development organ to see how we can attract investments into our development space. Point number 2, the African Development Bank matches your ambition and is taking bold steps to support Africa in mobilizing climate finance, including advocating for the reform of the global financial architecture to support Africa's performance. It's difficult to access climate funds. 2, 3, 4 years are still on the queue. That has to change. On that note, the African Development Bank set a target to devote 40% of its total financing to climate finance by 2020. We have consistently exceeded this corporate target in the past 3 consecutive years, reaching 55% in 2023. We have mobilized roughly $4 billion in the past 4 years in co-financing alone. But when we talk about the climate finance we do, it's about $17 billion between 2020 and 2023. In response to calls for reforms of the global financial architecture, the African Development Bank has established the Climate Action Window under the 16th replenishment cycle of the African Development Fund. We have a seed capital of $429 million already, and what this does is look at the 37 most vulnerable low-income African countries that are struggling with accessing global finance. These are the people we're working with. Scaling up green finance mobilization at scale to finance Africa's nationally determined contributions calls for deeper collaboration while harnessing the existing partnerships between our institutions. Together, we can enhance the access to multilateral climate funds for African development finance institutions, leveraging our AAA rating. As a member, AfDB can access the different initiatives of the African Financial Alliance on Climate Change, AFAC, which has been mentioned here severally, to enhance the capacity of its members to raise green funds. How do we mobilize the 2.7 trillion? That is the challenge before us. And I know that collectively we will rise to meet that challenge, to meet the needs and implement our nationally determined contributions. And for that, the African Development Bank is committed to furthering our existing partnership to expand green finance for Africa. And I know that together we can achieve this.